A lot of you remember that Zwane promised us Kaizer Chiefs fans beautiful football, arrogant on the ball type of football, and we kind of saw it in the first few games of the league. But that kind of disappeared. But what happened? Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. I'm a Khosi Football Club, and in this video, we'll talk about 4 reasons why Zwane moved from the beautiful football that it was promising to become beginning of the season to the mud football and the football that we have seen in recent weeks. Here's the first reason. The first reason for my observation is the fact that the new system and the new team, that's a very bad combination because on one hand you have all these new players who are coming in and you also have a new system. Usually when coaches come into teams, they are changing one of the things. They are either changing the system of the squad or they are carrying on with the system that was already working. I'll make a simple example by a team like Brighton. They are playing really well in the Premier League right now. Utezebi, when he came in, he started by coaching a team the way that Graham Potter was coaching them, by using the same system of back three. And then as the season progressed, he then transitioned into his own system. But he didn't just make the jump from the system that Graham Potter was playing with the team to his own thing. And because of that, the players transitioned easier into the new system. Now, someone might argue, Uguti, no, but the difference is Zwane had a preseason with all these players. To which I will respond, Uguti, remember, Uguti, the players also that you are mentioning, some of them did not join until later on in the transfer window. Like Abo Mahlatsi, he wasn't there because he was injured. Abo Dove, they signed and joined later on. Abo Caleb. So you see, all these things, and now you look at the team that we have on the team. You have Uzita was playing as centre back. You have Udove playing as a centre back who joined later on. You have Solomons also. So already in our back four, you have three new players. You go to midfield, the core, the defensive midfielders and the attacking midfielders. You have Ustebe, you have Umat. Both of them are new. You go to our forwards, you have Utupri, you have Caleb. So all of these players are new, coming from different teams with different systems. And you are now putting them in this team with the players who are already in this team, used to a different system, and trying to make things work with the team was just highly unlikely to work. And because of that, it didn't work. I know people will cite Jose Oliveira with Pirates, but it did change things. But look at how many Pirates players were also there from the previous seasons. Look at the Pirates players, like Kaboloch, who still played well in the Pirates right now. And it wasn't just depending on all the new players. They still like players from the previous season, so it's still brilliant. And the Chiefs, it was just depending on all the new players that had come in. Moving on is obviously the obvious one that everyone else knows is the lack of quality. Chiefs, if you look at equality ayo, and angisho ukuthi abadlali be-Chiefs bazinkomo, but the quality that I'm referring to is with the kind of football that you want to play. I'm not trying to fire shots at anyone here, but playing from the back, that's what the system demands. Uzita is not comfortable playing from the back. Look at even Abongezan, beginning of the season. Right now, they are solid defensively, but beginning of the season, that playing from the back thing was really harmful to them. They couldn't do it. They were making mistakes left, right, and center. Why? Because they're just not those kind of players who are able to play from the back. Number two, we didn't have a CDM beginning of the season. And then when we did find a way of playing Uplom in that position, we ended up selling him. So then that opens that lack of quality void again because we lost him after that. And then the next thing is, in that system, we're relying on a forward, Caleb, who was supposed to hold the ball up and then the attacking midfielders will play off of him in case we play the ball forward. He wasn't doing that. Hold up play yake was horrible because the movement yake is not on point. So because of that, all of these things, you bring them together, they just don't work because we did not have the players for the system. And we still don't have the players for the system. Number three, but before I go to number three, guys, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps me reach more people like you. And today's special member shout out goes to Tabang Van Veek. Thank you so much, Tabang, for becoming a member. You can also get a member shout out by becoming a member of this channel by clicking on the link on the description. and you can get the benefits that are here on the left. Moving on is that number 3 is the injuries. Chiefs has had a lot of injuries. Remember what Caleb Uzwane had said he wasn't going to sign him, but then what ended up happening, Utupri got injured and then we were forced to sign Caleb. So injuries affected Uguti. Now we had to put Caleb in the team who was not supposed to be in the team, because without Caleb, probably as it goes, they were going to continue looking for someone who was going to fit the style, who was going to be more mobile, sort of like what Dupree is doing. So they couldn't find that player, and then because of that, they ended up making a desperate signing. Ukama was also playing in that position. Gui Derby played in that position, and he actually did well, because even us winning that first derby, Ukama was pressing a player and then won the ball back, and then Matt takes a shot, and then we win. Once again, that player is out. A person who could have given us something, a player who was comfortable and is comfortable on the ball, and then we lost him to an injury earlier on in the season. Now all of a sudden, we don't have the players for the system once again. Defensive midfielder wise, we know we lost to Plum, but still there was a Cole. But where has Cole been this entire season? Injury after injury, injury after injury, and because obviously it's age. And if he does come onto the team, you can see Uguti is struggling with running around. And knowing Uguti, the system will demand him to run and run and run and run. That means there's a risk of more injuries again. So because of that, team stopped pressing high, and now they were trying to do a mid block where they don't press as high, but they just wait for the team to come into the middle and then we press them, because of these injuries that were affecting the team. And the other reason, number 4, is the winning pressure. Beginning of the season, we're just trying to play beautiful football and it wasn't working. As the season moved on and it was progressing, there was that thing yokuthi haibo Zwane, when are you winning, or how are we going to make it back to the CAF if you're not winning any matches? And the talk, you even heard it from Uzwan in the last 7 games. He started making this talk, yokuthi we now have to grind the results. Why do we have to grind the results? Because beautiful football wasn't getting us the results. Now we're trying to just do what we can to get the results. And as it so happened, it just coincided with this time where teams were now underestimating the Chiefs and thinking, hey, we can take on the Chiefs and attack them. And then that's why Chiefs was scoring our goals using our counter. And that kind of messed up also with the system, because we're now like, oh, okay, there's this new way of scoring, which is basically just do a counter. Well, it's not a new way, but there is this way of scoring, which is let's get them on the counter, let's get them on a transition, which is okay. Teams do that. But in a way, it also made players think, oh, that's the only way of playing. And then we saw them trying to do the same thing over and over again, even when it wasn't necessary. And the thing is, Uzwane, from this experience, he would probably say, Uguti, this is why Hunt, this is why Mintentorp, this is why Baxter, they all just played Omakita Spegan and tried to get the results. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have quality, Chiefs still wants results. Kaizer Chiefs fans don't care if you've been there for 1 season. They want you to deliver. And now Uzwane going to the next season, whether he's given new players or not, he will just have to make that balance. Uguti. At the end of the day, ultimately, fans can talk about wanting to see beautiful football all they want. If you give them wins, I am convinced at this point, Uguti football fans will care more about wins than beautiful football. Do you disagree? Do you agree with me? Let me know down on the comment section below. What are the other things that have changed with the Chiefs, and why do you think those things changed? See you in my comments. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Ali Peli Umoya.